Hey everyone, my name is Micah Blake, and in this video, we're going to be going over the 5 different ways that I've made money in music as a full-time, musician. um, if you're interested in tips and tricks on being a music teacher or also tips of learning music, subscribe to this channel. We're going to be posting every week awesome content that will help you through your music journey, whether as a teacher or a musician or both. Okay, so what are the 5 different ways I've made money in music? The first way is teaching lessons. Now, if you're interested in the pros and cons of that, I'm going to link in the description and at the end to a video that I did on 5 pros and cons of teaching music lessons privately. But music lessons are great for a sustainable working relationship as a musician. There are so many good things to it. Just a couple of them are you become really good at your music. Teaching someone else really makes you understand what you're good at in music and also what you're bad at. It also gives a consistent income typically. Now that does fluctuate, but having, if you don't want to do it full time, but you only have like 10 or 20 students, you can also, if you're on the road, you can do a Skype video with them and they'll just think it's awesome that you're playing in Nashville or something and still teaching them. So there's a lot of different helpful things you can do as teaching lessons. That's my number one because it made the most money for me and I did it the longest. My second one is being a studio musician. Now, being a studio musician is something I didn't really ever think about before I was just asked to do it. It came up one time that I was teaching someone else and they were like, oh, we're doing this video and I really need someone like you to play in it. And I was like, well, okay, like what's the music? And it was actually a really great gig. It took a long time to learn the music, but I was there for a full day and I got paid like $300 or something. And after that, I was like, I could totally do this more. Like, I'm a good pianist. This type of music that they want is usually really easy. So after that, I hooked up with a couple of studios, and whenever they needed an extra piano part that fit my style, they would call me up. I'd come in for an hour and play and get a couple extra bucks. It was more than my lessons, and it was something different, fun to do. If you're good at your instrument, then I would definitely consider doing this. Go talk to a studio, and sometimes people are really vague. They're like, oh, I just want piano in this. So I'm just literally making up my part, something that I personally am very good at. So that's a ton of fun for me. I'm just out there playing along and getting paid for it. Number 3, writing and recording background tracks. This is kind of the same as being a studio musician, but it's more personal. So you're actually writing a song, but it's not a normal, like, let's all sing along with this song. It's background music, either for, if it's upbeat, it may be for a commercial, or like, I always think when I'm on the phone with like Eversource or electric company, something like that, and they put me on hold and it's this terrible music, and I'm like, they should totally just pay me to write some better music that would actually sound good on a phone. Maybe this sounds good on a speaker, but right now what I'm hearing sounds terrible. So people like that do pay for music. Now there's a lot of different websites you can do. I did mostly private stuff. So I had a friend who was making a video and they wanted some piano background music for that. Different things like that. This is a long-term thing where you're going to sit down, you're going to play and record some music, and then you're going to go put it out on the internet and try to get it sold. Or it's going to be specific things for individuals that you know. This was much more inconsistent for me, but I did do it and it helped me out in a few pinches. Now, my 4th way of getting money was playing for weddings. There's a lot of good and bad to this. The good is you typically get paid pretty well unless it's just like, your brother-in-law's wedding or something, and they just want you to play because you're the musician in the family. But that's not what I'm talking about. Actually playing for legit weddings for people who want a musician. Um, Typically, you're playing almost the same songs the whole time, especially if you're playing for the ceremony. Usually some classical pieces or some pop pieces that are turned into sounding like classical. It's usually not that difficult. The biggest stress is, for me, I don't like to dress up, so I really don't want to look the part, but that's not a huge issue. The biggest stress is everyone is stressed out, but having you be the musician is great for this because you're not stressed out. You're doing the same thing you're always doing. It's not a big deal. And you're actually kind of a magnet for people to come around and be like, I need someone to not be stressed right now. So they hang around you, which is cool. And also, you get to see some really beautiful places. It can be a lot of fun. I would suggest if you do it to hook up with a couple of people that work well with your instrument. If you're a guitarist, hook up with a violinist and a pianist, or have that like trio of people who play with you so that you all look like a package. You'll get paid more. It'll be way easier working with the same musicians all the time. But sometimes people just want really simple stuff. Well, they think it's awesome stuff, but it's really simple, like playing Over the Rainbow on ukulele over and over again. You're like, so many things are easy to do. It may not be the most creative thing you've ever done, but when you're a full-time musician and you have to make the money to survive that way. And this is totally a way to do that. Now, my fifth way is a little more abstract. I bought and sold used instruments. This started out because I had no money to begin with at all. And I got an instrument from somewhere, I don't remember where, and I saw that it was an okay instrument, but I saw one on like Craigslist that was better, more suited for my needs. So I sold this one and I bought that one, and I bought it at a really good price. Now, you can keep doing this because you just find different stuff for good deals when you're in this world. Now, I've done this with buying instruments for my students. You find a really good deal on a guitar. It's like $50 and you fix a few things on it and sell it to them for like $100. They're happy. They have a good guitar. They didn't have to do the work to go search for it and all that. And you're already doing that work because you're in the music world. You're going to find out that someone's getting rid of, a few keyboards or whatever. So that's a very inconsistent way too. But all of these different ways work together so that you have a continuous flow of income for your music business. Now, you don't have to do all of those 5. There are infinite ways to make money in music. It's just about finding what you like to do and what's needed in your area. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I would really be interested in different ways that you've made money in music. So put that in the comments. Also, like I said before, if you're interested in this type of video, totally subscribe because we're going to be doing this once a week with different ways of being a good musician and a good teacher. So until next week, I'll see you later.